be able to take F4 voice 725, retune it to Z3 video, where you'd only need 3 voice, 3 data. But that's kind of down the road. Pipe dreaming. Let me see.
See that
667
that document that you just where's that document?
on my laptop right now.
Oh,
667. This is what I'm talking about. About how it looks screwy, but it's really just one radio. And for you and Taj, this part's important.
okay, yeah, this is what I want to see.
Where I was talking about the cell numbers earlier, the logical cell numbers.
Mm-hmm.
See the cell ID? 1667. Your BTS system number. MC 1900 RBS 11667.
Gotcha.
Configured platform type. It ain't or Metro CMO anymore.
Okay.
BTS 602A. When you set that, look at your backhaul. It's grayed out. You don't get a choice. It's Ethernet or Ethernet. Good?
Mm-hmm.
This is your virtual radio I'm talking about. So you've got 350 voice
Mm-hmm.
on RFM1, RFM4, you've got 325 for your EPDO. The way you build it, it looks like 2 radios, right?
Mm-hmm.
Physically using RRUs, alpha here and alpha here, are using the same RRU.
So then it's 3 radios up there?
1 RRU for each sector. Those big ugly gray boxes that are mounted on the rack next to the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
There's also, for switch folks, when you build these, you know these two fields here that were always blank?
Mm-hmm.
Your RF branch and your antenna unit group.
Okay.
Antenna unit group, very simple. Alpha 1, beta 2, gamma 3. Your RF branch, RDN, the first voice carrier on the VMFRN
Mm-hmm.
is set to 1. If I were to add 375 right here,
Mm-hmm.
for a second carrier, it'd be set to 2.
Gotcha.
If I were to be able to add a third carrier, you set it back to 1.
What's that?
Fourth carrier, you set it back to 2.
Okay.
You just alternate 1, 2, 1, 2.
Gotcha. Okay.
But for here, you'll see 1, and you see antenna unit group 1. You go to beta,
So down on the
1, 2. You look at gamma, it's going to be 1 and then 3. If I were to add 375, I'd have 2, 1, 2, 2, 3.
so down on the 325 it would still be for alpha be 1 and 1.
Yeah, because it's logically a different radio. So on that one, you're back to 1 and 1 again.
Gotcha.
Stupid as hell, isn't it?
Yeah, just
Another little difference, when you add your channel, now you always do mixed RRM for voice. A little different. Mixed RRM underscore 1 extra thing
Hmm.
for your DO. Guess what? Looks the exact same.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what the difference is as far as the BSM is concerned on legacy video versus EEGS?
Mm.
When you add your channel card, you add a AEM instead of a DOM.
Oh.
Wait, you see what I'm talking about, the 5 slots? 5 is going to be your XCEMA. And if it's internal, like on RBS, it's going to say DBA underscore AEM. If you were to look at a Metro cell that has EEGS, that's just going to be a regular AEM. And you can see that slot I don't even have any choices. It is what it is. Now, if I were to add slot 1, I can add XCMA, DOM 300, or an AEM 1302. Because it's not internal to the DBA.
So every DBA in the site should have,
It's going to have 5 and eventually 4. With our spectrum, I highly doubt you ever see 1, 2, and 3. I mean, what's the point? Like, say on the second DBA, if they do reaching 725, right? And AEM, it's multi-channel capable. So you wouldn't need to add an additional card like you need to add a DOM, because that one card can handle multiple carriers for EVDO.
So then you don't need the 7.
Well, I'm saying, like, say this site had 750 voice
Mm-hmm.
and 775 EVDO. They
Mhm.
retune and make 725 a 30 EVDO.
Mm-hmm.
You could just add that carrier onto the existing card. The AEMs do up to 3 carriers,
Gotcha.
where a DOM's just you're stuck with your one.
Gotcha.
It is what it is.
Okay.
Everybody good? Lost?
No, we're good. So, on the port map, it is still going to be.
Oh, that's next.
Oh,
And then
okay.
break. Notice instead of T1s, you got IP back off. Underscore IP.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at your legacy T1 back off, it's a port map for an STS. So like your BT1s, 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 2 1, 2 2, 2 3, 2 4,
Mm-hmm.
etc.
Mm-hmm.
On your, and you have one pretty little picture for every traffic range. If you look at the IP backhaul, you just get an ugly little map, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, it's traffic range 10. Well, you add traffic range 9, 10, 11, and 12 all on the same window. So you'd have to change the traffic range 9. There's traffic range 9. Here's 10. Here's 11. Here's 12.
Mm-hmm.
To add it, just like a T1 where it's blue,
Mm-hmm.
drag it over. You enter your BTS IP number, enter your port number, enter those keys, those SPIs and those keys.
Okay.
Those two are going to match. Those two are going to match.
And the
You
port,
hit OK. That's it.
and the port number still will be given to us on the order.
Traffic range and port. What we'll get to here in a little bit, how you see all these are on the same port
Mm-hmm.
or on the same picture.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they're all on the same picture. That IP address on the VSC that the sites point back to, for those 4 traffic ranges,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same IP address.
Oh, okay.
For these 4 traffic ranges, they have their IP address. Or, that's not. Except, you see what I'm saying? It's each card pair, pretty much. Every pair of 4-port DDs, instead of your 11 T1 cards, every pair of 4-port DDs is going to have an IP address that they talk to. And that's where you get into the virtual routers inside the 15K shell. Really, confusing shit.
Okay. So when you're adding, so there's no more such thing as adding the T1.
It's just pipe size. Where you saw on,
Or extending the pipe.
well, like you see, like your, projected, your Ethernet link speeds,
Mm-hmm.
your bandwidth,
Okay.
that's going to be a augment. They're going to increase the pipe size.
Okay, but that's not done in CCP.
Could be done there. And that's also going to take some coordination because I mean, you're going to have your backhaul from telco. It's going to have to be adjusted. You're going to have to reset some stuff in XPT 10.
And that's gonna be working
Nightmare.
together at the same time, right? Because
Or you're gonna
Dell can't say, okay, you asked for 1,000 more bandwidth, and
Yeah, they
we're
can't.
finished, but then as soon as you do that, it changes the actual VLAN to where it's just gonna drop, and it's not seeing it until you make everything equal, right?
If they make it bigger and we're still set, like say they make it, say we got 100 meg pipe, and they decide to make it 1,000.
That'll drop,
As long as we're set for 100 on each side,
right?
we should be all right. But when we make our change, we don't change both sides. Oh, and it also depends on, are we set for,
Right,
if we're set for auto negotiation,
right,
it's going to say, okay, what's the most I can use? But look right there,
yeah, it's
auto
all,
negotiation equals false.
yeah. I noticed a
Which
lot of
means
them are like.
we're using this.
Right. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. If we increase it, it's not gonna affect us, because we're gonna have a smaller pipe anyway.
Now, if they go and decrease it, then they're just going to chip us off.
So when will we ever use what you just showed us in CCP when we doing a new build?
New build, which Sprint wants EMS, us, like the city of Houston sites, CNS sites, how some contractor goes and dumps a metro cell in there. We build it in CACP, you guys go connect it up in the field,
Mhm.
we get it up, 911 test, hand it off to RF. By mid-April, they want us doing that on vision sites.
Good luck.
By mid-April.
Even happening.
I'm the test dummy.
That
So
should-
here in a few months, they.
Like in the next couple of weeks, I get a test dummy with the
Wow.
see if I can figure out. It's the main thing they're trying to do right now is figure out what the knowledge gaps are. Take the OEM ops. How can we take those, turn them into something useful for switch and field, to where we can actually do the work. Or if there's sections of it where we either can't get a hold of ops from the OEM, can we figure out how to do it to where we can? Or is it something that we're going to have to reach out to the OEM to get training on?
Well, I would say
They're
knowledge.
actually doing it and planning it to where, let's make sure we can do it, let's build a knowledge gap, get it documented,
Mhm.
get it out to people,
Mhm.
then we'll take it over. Sprint wants it to happen like yesterday because they're as tired of the OEM as we are.
What does OEM stand for?
The factors.
Oh yeah, okay.
Original equipment manufacturer.
Okay.
Todd wins, he gets a donut.
Mhm.
All right. That was pretty much my spiel. The other thing I wanted to do besides questions for y'all is,
Can I get that?
yeah,
Okay.
the other thing I wanted to do was just show y'all around in the EGS stuff for 20, 30 minutes. Just how to get in, get around, and then talk about this. The 9 million different conventions of cell sites out there, and how there's like a different flavor of each one. And just kind of walk through how to troubleshoot it, especially from a backhaul standpoint for today. The goal of this is get a hold of where everybody is overall, where we can look and say, okay, John and Tony need help with the IP aspect of it. Taj and Bridget need help with
Everything.
EGS. Shannon's pretty good, but he could just use a little bit on this. And we can kind of tailor to what people are really needing more specifically, instead of just saying, here's network vision, here you go.
Mhm.
Man, I mean, to do this over 4 hours at a time, or even 8 hours at a time, you have to sit in there for a couple freaking weeks.
Mhm.
And as we saw yesterday with Lee, by the time I finished beating up Barbara and Lee was just, and that was after about 4.5 hours.
Really?
So let's take 5 or so, and then we'll talk about EGS, and then look at these ugly site configurations.
Will we go
So-
back and standardize our site configurations? Is those just now to get everything built out?
Eventually, it'll just be voice and EVDO on an RDS over Ethernet backhaul, either Ethernet telco provided or a microwave one.
So are you gonna be using, this as your manual, your guide? Like, are you gonna put something up like that? No?
Kind of. Well, I mean, I'll basically go through that, yeah.
I
And
really
then
like to see. what
actually
you-
log in and look around.
Okay.
Just kind of walk through that, get in, actually look around, just where people can see it, at least a feel.
Okay.
But I really want to get into that, the back home. I
Okay.
mean, you get into these sites, especially the SIU sites,